The Manual of the Warrior of Light. Page 9. A warrior of light knows that he has much to be grateful for. He was helped in his struggle by the angels. Celestial forces placed each thing in its place, thus allowing him to give of his best. His companion says, "He is so lucky," and the warrior does sometimes achieve things far beyond his capabilities. That is why at sunset he kneels and gives thanks for the protective cloak surrounding him. His gratitude, however, is not limited to the spiritual world. He never forgets his friends, for their blood mingled with his on the battlefield. A warrior does not need to be reminded of the help given him by others. He is the first to remember and make sure to share with them any rewards he receives. Page 10. All the world's roads lead to the heart of the warrior. He plunges unhesitatingly into the river of passions always flowing through his life. The warrior knows that he is free to choose his desires, and he makes these decisions with courage, detachment, and sometimes with just a touch of madness. He embraces his passions and enjoys them intensely. He knows that there is no need to renounce the pleasures of conquest. They are part of life and bring joy to all those who participate in them. But he never loses sight of those things that last, or of the strong bonds that are forged over time. A warrior can distinguish between the transient and the enduring. Page 11. A warrior of light does not rely on strength alone. He makes use of his opponent's energy too. When he enters the fight, all he has is his enthusiasm and the moves and strikes that he learned during his training. As the fight progresses, he discovers that enthusiasm and training are not enough to win. What counts is experience. Then he opens his heart to the universe and asks God to give him the inspiration he needs to turn every blow from his enemy into a lesson in self-defense. His companions say, "He's so superstitious. He stopped fighting in order to pray. He even shows respect for his opponent's tricks." The warrior does not respond to these provocations. He knows that without inspiration and experience, no amount of training will help him. Page 12. A warrior of light never resorts to trickery, but he knows how to distract his opponent. However anxious he is, he uses every strategy at his disposal to gain his objective. When he sees that his strength is almost gone, he makes his enemy think that he is simply biding his time. When he needs to attack the right flank, he moves his troops to the left. If he intends beginning the battle at once, he pretends instead that he is tired and prepares for sleep. His friends say, "Look, he's lost all enthusiasm." But he pays no attention to such remarks because his friends do not understand his tactics. A warrior of light knows what he wants, and he has no need to waste time on explanations. Page 13. A wise Chinese has this to say about the strategies of the warrior of light. Convince your enemy that he will gain very little by attacking you. This will diminish his enthusiasm. Do not be ashamed to make temporary withdrawal from the field if you see that your enemy is stronger than you. It is not winning or losing a single battle that matters, but how the war ends. Even if you are strong, never be ashamed to feign weakness. This will make your enemy act imprudently and attack too soon. In war, the key to victory is the ability to surprise one's opponent. Page 14. It's odd. says the warrior of light to himself. I have met so many people who, at the first opportunity, try to show their very worst qualities. They hide their inner strength behind aggression. They hide their fear of loneliness behind an air of independence. They do not believe in their own abilities, but are constantly trumpeting their virtues. The warrior reads these messages in many of the men and women he meets. He is never taken in by appearances and makes a point of remaining silent when people try to impress him. And he uses the occasion to correct his own faults, for other people make an excellent mirror. A warrior takes every opportunity to teach himself. Page 15. The warrior of light sometimes fights with those he loves. The man who defends his friends is never overwhelmed by the storms of life. He is strong enough to come through difficulties and to carry on. However, he is often faced by challenges from those to whom he is trying to teach the art of the sword. His disciples provoke him into fighting with them, and the warrior demonstrates his abilities. With just a few blows, he disarms his students, and harmony returns to the place where they meet. Why bother to do that when you are so much better than they are? Asks a traveler. Because in challenging me, what they really want is to talk to me, and this is my way of keeping dialogue open, replies the warrior. Page 16. Before embarking on an important battle, a warrior of light asks himself, how far have I developed my abilities? He knows that he has learned something with every battle he has fought, but many of those lessons have caused him unnecessary suffering. More than once he has wasted his time fighting for a lie, and he has suffered for people who did not deserve his love. Victors never make the same mistake twice. That is why the warrior only risks his heart for something worthwhile. Page 17. A warrior of light respects the main teaching of the I Ching. To persevere is favorable. He knows that perseverance is not the same thing as insistence. There are times when battles go on longer than necessary, draining him of strength and enthusiasm. At such moments, the warrior thinks, a prolonged war finally destroys the victors too. Then he withdraws his forces from the battlefield and allows himself a respite. He perseveres in his desire, but knows he must wait for the best moment to attack. A warrior always returns to the fray. He never does so out of stubbornness, but because he has noticed the change in the weather. Page 18. A warrior of light knows that certain moments repeat themselves. He often finds himself faced by the same problems and situations, and seeing these difficult situations returned, he grows depressed, thinking that he is incapable of making any progress in life. I've been through all this before, he says to his heart. Yes, you have been through all this before, replies his heart, but you have never been beyond it. Then the warrior realizes that these repeated experiences have but one aim, to teach him what he does not want to learn. Page 19. A warrior of light is never predictable. He might dance down the street on his way to work, gaze into the eyes of a complete stranger and speak of love at first sight, or else defend an apparently absurd idea. Warriors of light allow themselves days like this. He is not afraid to weep over ancient sorrows or to feel joy at new discoveries. When he feels that the moment has arrived, he drops everything and goes off on some long dreamed of adventure. When he realizes that he can do no more, he abandons the fight, but never blames himself for having committed a few unexpected acts of folly. A warrior does not spend his days trying to play the role that others have chosen for him. Page 20. Warriors of light always keep a certain gleam in their eyes. They are of this world. They are part of the lives of other people, and they set out on their journey with no saddlebags and no sandals. They are often cowardly. They do not always make the right decisions. They suffer over the most trivial things. They have mean thoughts and sometimes believe they are incapable of growing. They frequently deem themselves unworthy of any blessing or miracle. They are not always quite sure what they are doing here. They spend many sleepless nights believing that their lives have no meaning. That is why they are warriors of light, because they make mistakes, because they ask themselves questions, because they are looking for a reason and are sure to find it.